Hello guys, this is just a quick review of the Canon 600D camera that I've been using for a few months now. This camera retails for about £600, and with that it includes usually the camera body and the 18-55mm IS2 grade lens. The camera itself shoots at 18 megapixel CMOS sensor and shoots full HD video as well. You can purchase SDHD cards for it, and I purchased a HP one that shoots at class 10 speed for about 20 quid, which is a pretty good price really for memory. Now, the camera itself is a very versatile camera. It has many shooting modes. Most of them can be used straight out of the box for most beginner camera users, which is really beneficial, especially if this is your starting out camera before upgrading to something like the 5D upwards or something from a different manufacturer. Now, with the camera itself, this is the box that I got with mine. Obviously, this was the camera and also included a wireless trigger for taking photos wirelessly. However, to be honest, I haven't really used that feature too much because obviously you have to stand in front of the camera to use it. Now, you can buy external flash for the Canon 600D camera, as the onboard flash can be quite garish and obviously not perfect for all lighting conditions. Personally, if you're going to be doing daytime photography, you'll find that most of the time you won't need to use flash anyway, as obviously depending on your f-stop level on your lenses, you're going to get different levels of light come through. If you do find though that you do need an external flash, I purchased mine for about £50 off eBay, which included the gun and like a wireless trigger and separate offset as well, so I can use the flash gun off the camera on a tripod if needs be. I also included a light diffusing filter on top, which can be removed obviously if you want to use just the pure flash for any other purpose, and obviously it has separate mode settings and power, etc. So obviously if you're getting different levels of light, you can change the power of the light accordingly. I also purchased separately for the Canon camera, I did purchase some more Canon lenses. Currently shooting on this camera is the Nifty 50, which most photographers swear by. It's a 50mm static prime lens and has an f-stop of 1.8, so it's great for light where it's not that great. It will let in a lot of light, so it is very useful, especially for things like portrait photography, weddings, events, that kind of thing. If you're into more like wildlife and sports, obviously you can purchase something like a telephoto lens. This is the Canon EF 75-300mm, and this has an f-stop of 4 to 5.6. This is only the grade 3 model in fact. However, it does suffer in the fact that it doesn't have image stabilization built in, so if you are going to be shooting with a telephoto lens, you might want to invest in getting a more expensive model, as I have found that using this I'm having to hold the camera very steady with one hand and the lens extremely kind of crotched in against my my chest in order to get a firm grip and to get a photo that doesn't have any camera shake or wobble, which a lot of beginner photographers will have trouble with, believe me. I've done it many times and I've been doing it for a small while now, and I still get photos every now and again that are out of blur, out of focus, and getting blurred photos can obviously ruin what could be a great picture. Now, if you are looking to buy accessories for your camera, you can purchase things, the smallest things, believe it or not, and this is one of the most important pieces of kit you're going to need on your camera, and that is a UV filter. This one cost me around £5 from eBay. This is just a basic 58mm filter. You can buy polarizing filters and kind of sepia filters, black and white filters, that kind of thing. Personally, I just purchased a UV filter. You will find it really beneficial, if only for the fact that it will protect your lens for a long time, as obviously if you scratch your lens it's going to cost you a lot of money to replace, whereas if you scratch a filter it's only going to cost you something like £5 to replace, so it's a worthy piece of kit to have in your bag, believe me. Now, there is other things that you can buy for the Canon 600D. Obviously it does feature the great ability of being able to use third-party lenses from the likes of Tamron and Minolta's. The price range for different lenses, obviously you will find cheaper online, but obviously if you're just starting out you do get a really decent kit lens, and it is quite versatile as long as you're kind of shooting kind of about a foot away. At the minute I'm about a foot away from the camera right now, and this is a kind of the zoom that you'll get off that 55mm lens, as this is about 50mm with the static prime lens that's on my camera currently. The Nifty 50 lens, which is the f-stop 1.8 which I mentioned, costs you about £90. Now most photographers swear by this lens, mainly because it takes great portrait photography. It really gives you a nice sharp but crisp looking photo, which allows a really natural blurred backdrop setting, and it really makes your portrait photos look almost professional. And I personally believe that if you're good enough with the Canon 600D, you can get professional looking photos at a semi-professional DSLR price. The camera does have the benefit of having a really easy to use interface. Like I did say earlier, it does take it takes up to 32 gig SDHC memory cards from most companies. I've got a couple of Samsung cards and a HP card which is class 10, and I picked that up for about £20. Like I say, really good purchase, and it's a really good way to start out if you're looking into taking quite a lot of photos and video onto one card. The shooting settings include like your program settings. It also has an auto setting for straight out of the box shooting, so if you are new to a digital SLR, you can get a good feel of how the shooting is, and obviously you can really adapt to where you are. And it's really good if you're not sure about what kind of light levels you've got and you don't really use ISO or shutter speed, so you will find that really beneficial. It does have full manual auto settings as well, so obviously you can change things like background blur, your ISO, your f-stop, your shutter speed, your aperture, everything like that can be customised on board the camera, and it has a really easy to use interface, and I really cannot swear by it enough. It is quite a small camera. It does have a bit of an awkward feel about it when you do hold the camera, I will admit. It is a bit tight in the hand. You've really kind of got to grip your hand literally straight round the cup. Some prefer this. I personally don't really mind. It's kind of just the norm. As long as you've got a good solid grip, you've not got anything to worry about. Obviously use the camera strap. You don't want to lose your camera down the drain. That really wouldn't be good. So obviously just wear it around the strap, and you can hold the camera really how you feel comfortable. I tend to hold mine really kind of hand on the side, hand on the bottom, and then try and take my photos like that. There is a small hiccup with this camera, and it is worth noticing, especially as I mentioned earlier, the external flash. If you are going to be using external flash for any reason, you cannot shoot with external flash with the viewfinder. You have to actually use the traditional eyepiece to take the photo with flash. I don't know if this is something to do with how the inside of the camera works with regards to the viewfinder itself, but if you use the viewfinder to shoot normally, which a lot of people are doing nowadays, people say it's cheating. Personally, I just think it's an easier way of getting a bigger view of what you're doing. As long as you're in focus, you should get, you know, and it's an easier way to look at what you're about to shoot, and some people prefer it for shooting from up high or down low. You can get more of an idea of perspective from using the viewfinder, so you know, each to their own, but be aware that if you are using external flash, you cannot use the viewfinder at the same time, as it tends to cut out the flash when you do. So I don't know if that's just with the third-party flash, whether or not that's the same with the Speedlight EX from Canon, I don't know. But like I say, for the money, it's your decision on what kind of flash you want to go for. So I hope I've covered most of the things in this video. What I will do at some point is a hands-on video with the camera itself. Obviously I'll have to get my other camera to film that with, and you'll be able to have a look at the menu and how it works as a camera. I'll also link in the sidebar some photos that I've taken with the camera, some wildlife photos and Ow My Eye Hurts, and some other things that I've taken with the camera, like live gig photos in low light, daylight photography, nighttime photography, and just some general kind of a bit of everything photos basically, so you can get a really good idea of what you can get and achieve with this camera. It really is a good purchase for the sake of what it costs, which, like I say, with a kit lens is usually about £600. It really will be a really good camera and a great purchase for you. So I hope I've covered everything in this review. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comment bar below, and I'll upload more videos soon. Thanks very much. Bye.